you doing?
I'm doing good. Navigating, coming out of the pandemic year like everybody else, slowly getting into the world, going back to normal, husband, kids, church, radio, music, juggling the same things.
Are we going to be back to normal? Have you guys been vaccinated? Like they said today, we can travel more freely now, even though we have to be masked up.
I don't trust the vaccination. I don't.
Uh-oh.
Hurry up, get on Black people first. Some don't sit well with me. And I know, I'm sorry. I know it's a bunch of people just very pro-vaccination. I ain't with it.
I want you to know that I gladly got both. I waited online. One of the things that upset me, Karen and I talked about it, was there were so many people that I saw in so many different neighborhoods that either did computer privilege, white privileged. I live in better zip code privileged, and we're traveling to all kinds of neighborhoods that they wouldn't be caught dead in otherwise, but they showed up to get a vaccine. I've gotten both of my vaccines. My wife just got both of her, just got her second shot. My daughter-in-law works in a medical center, and so she got one a long time ago because of the environment she was in. And little by little, people that we know and love are getting vaccinated. I've got to tell you, other than a minor reaction, mostly if you have the second one or if you do the J&J one, and the reaction is probably just your body saying that they're fighting the virus. And, so far, no messages from Bill Gates have come through to me the way, some people on the right wing are saying. And I understand the past, but it's almost like in my mind, this vaccine makes up for past sins, and it's so important for everybody to get. It really is. It's science, and again, I know in the past there've been real issues, and there's hesitancy and there's cautiousness, but. I'll at least tell you that I got them. I'm happy to get them. If they say you need to get a booster, I'll get a booster.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a no for me. Sorry.
Okay. So
it's all right.
Okay. Listen,
and I'm out.
And because of that, she's out. So what if you can't travel? What if you can't travel without the vaccine? Because I know 2 years ago, I had to go to Africa. They said you can't come into this country without yellow fever, without the malaria, without the card to say that you had your yellow fever and malaria. And I was like, I want to go to Africa.
But this COVID, there's not been enough time to evaluate. And the part about this that I don't understand is I don't hear anybody saying, build your immune system, wear gloves, wear a mask, sanitize your hands, get this vaccine. Why can't we just build a strong enough immune system to combat it? So I've been around people who've had it. My husband had it. I took care of him. I didn't get it. My mother-in-law had it. I went to her house, made soup for her, was around her, didn't get it. And I'm not that I'm this, special case. I just believe in building a strong immune system. And that's just where I stand. I haven't heard enough. Everybody's like, oh, there's no side effects. I mean, that's not a good enough reason to me. You know what I mean? So
there's side effects.
I mean, some people need it, and some, I'm not telling anybody.
So if they tell you, because you travel right. As part of your job. If they say you cannot get on an airplane unless you're vaccinated, or you get
my own plane.
Oh, you better do that. That's
there you go.
That's what I was like. Where we get one of them?
So Erica makes a point about building up your immune system, and vitamin D is proven and has been proven. What I think is one of the missing parts of public health communication. There's been a lot. I think that when we look back in time, we realize there's a lot of things that we could have said and communicated to people better and differently. And hopefully the next time this stuff happens, we will. But vitamin D deficiencies in a lot of people is something that has made their immune system lower. And simply by taking, 2,000, 3,000 IUs, I don't know, Erica, what you think is the right amount.
Let's not give out prescriptions.
The views expressed by the show's producers and its guests are not necessarily those of Karen Hunter or Sirius XM.
I'm good get myself canceled.
I don't think you're going to get canceled. I think there's plenty of evidence in the scientific literature that says that if you have vitamin D in you, you're going to be. But you know what? There's the internet. You can't always
No.
believe everything you see and hear on the internet, but vitamin
Right.
D is
This
a
is
good
true.
one.
This is true.
Thank you.
The medical industry doesn't want us to have something that we can get from the grocery store. Come on. They make more money when we're sick. They don't. America doesn't make money when we're well. They make money off of sick people. So if you're sick, they're going to tell you to take this medicine. They're not going to say change your diet. They're not going to say get rid of sugar. We make too much money off of sugar. They're not going to say that some beef and some meat can be toxic. We make too much money off that industry. They're not going to do it. Look, they sued Oprah just because she said she was vegetarian a bunch of years ago. Like, we know how this country works. So it's like the stuff that we see, yay, we want to take care of the people. Then there's the underbelly, and you're somewhere in the middle, and you got to make your own choice with what you believe, right? We know that is the truth. We know who they want to take care of and who they don't want to take care of. We're looking at this case when they're trying to prove that this man had to have his knee on George Floyd's neck for 9 minutes and 26 seconds or however long it was, that he was just doing his job. Sorry, that's not what you called me on here. Right?
No. Actually, so let me just say this. No, I'm giving you a hug right now, because that energy that you came in is the exact same energy that I had for the last week. I'm trying to shake it, but clearly we need to sit in this space for a minute, minus the vaccine, because I separate with you on that, because there is a scientific, in the fact that white people are coming to the black neighborhoods to get it. I'm like, this ain't Tuskegee. That said, you're not wrong about us building up our immune system. And I've had many doctors on who say that they get maybe 1 week of nutrition in a four-year education, when medicine, food and medicine and disease and food totally correlated. Why isn't half your education
what we eat
this space? So I agree with you. I'm just not going to ever on these airways tell people not to get vaccinated, because I think that would be, to me, irresponsible in this space.
Yes, I'm not telling anybody not to do it. Just as for me and my house.
For you.
Listen, my husband wants to get the vaccine.
And so what? Because he had COVID, and so how did it impact him? Because I remember him coming out and saying that.
It was rough. It was very, very rough. Many nights he literally couldn't breathe, gasping treatments, just all the medicines, and you know what I mean? Just all the natural, it's a combination of homeopathic medicine and natural things just to make sure that he got better. He got better in 3 weeks and is pretty much back to normal now. But it was scary. It was very scary. Tina had it too. And Tina said, I was preparing myself like, okay, I may not make it out of this. She said, that's really what I thought. But I come from a family who abused medicine from the doctor, who kept trying stuff. Here, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Let's try this. And my father got sicker and sicker from them trying, so I don't have a good backstory or history with it. But then you have my mom, who didn't take medicine, has always been in the homeopathic way, and is 70 and still living her good life, looks amazing, has never been in the hospital, no issues, just from taking good care of her body. So
yeah, she looks like y'all's sister. So living in the house with Warren, having COVID, how did you keep yourself safe?
We quarantined. We stayed downstairs. And when I came in the room, I had a mask. When I came in, he put on the mask. We had essential oils and all that stuff going as well. A concierge doctor who walked with us through the whole process, who made sure he had what he needed, as well as giving him massages as he laid on his stomach, because if you lay on your back, your lungs are compressed and it was harder to breathe. So I literally had to massage him every day, just to get him better. And I slept in my son's room, and he slept in here. When we had dinner, we told him to set up his camera, and we would still have dinner together and still pray for him and wait for him to be better. And I'll never forget that Sunday, we were like, where's Daddy? He wasn't on the camera. And he came downstairs, and the kids were like, yeah, because we had got the negative report. He had got the negative report from the doctor. So it was just a very interesting time. It was no joke at all.
I want to ask you, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ron.
So they're now talking about vaccinating 16 and 18-year-olds and younger people. And so what happens if the school systems say, which is a different question than what happens if you want to travel and, the airlines say, if you can't prove that you've been vaccinated or that you've got a negative test, you can't fly. What happens if the schools say, we really want all children that are going to come into the school environment to be vaccinated? I mean, there is the ability to home teach and homeschool, but has anybody had any of that discussion? Because that's the next discussion that'll come out.
Sure. My kids are homeschooled. And the reason I homeschooled them was not just because of COVID, but just because, the nature of my work and the nature of my life. And I wanted more time with them. I want them to experience what I do. So they've been homeschooled, and most homeschoolers have a different view than kind of the kind of cattle call thing that's going on in public schools. I don't necessarily like what public schools are teaching. They don't teach all of history. They just teach the part they want you to know. They don't teach financing. They don't teach real world living. There's just so much in regular schools. And then I didn't like the way some of the teachers would talk to my Black son. So I took them out a long time ago. And I feel like you prepare your children for the life you want them to live. And so if they're in a system that doesn't understand them, that doesn't elevate them, that already has a preconceived notion of who and what they can be, then you take them out of that environment. And so that's what I did. My kids had been at the same school, very, very nice public school here. And me and my husband had been there. And every time they would say things to my son, like, I don't know why your father never comes here. And I literally had to tell the teacher, stop saying that to my son. You've seen him. You've seen his dad several times. We come to the programs. We come to the office. Stop saying you don't see his father. You're sending subliminal messages that I don't like and I didn't appreciate. So my kids don't go to public school. That was a long answer. Sorry.
But that takes care of that. But there's that. I mean, that's still a question that's going to come up. And part of the answer, and you've answered it, is my children are homeschooled, so it's not going to be an issue whether the schools say you need to be vaccinated or not, because they're not going. Right.
Yeah, they're not going. Yeah.
I'm actually loving this conversation. I just want to sit in it for a minute, because I feel like, these are the kinds of discussions we should be having. The breaking the mold of, like, this is what we all should do. Yeah, we got to arrive at a conclusion. It's clear that Erica Campbell's gone down and studied and looked at things, and you have the ability to be able to make a different choice than most of us. Like you said, I'll just have my own plane.
Yeah, I have it all in my family. So I have some cousins who've always, every holiday season, all the older family members, all right, guys, let's get the flu shot. And they stay sick all season long. Let's get this vaccine. And some of them have gotten it, right? And then my sister, who is an Ayurvedic practitioner, who believes in natural medicine, who's been studying for the last several years. So it's always a mix, and you have to trust your gut. You have to trust your heart. You have to educate yourself and know what's best for you and your family. I can't raise my house based on, what other people do. And everybody feels different. Even in our Black community, you have some part of the Black community that's like, we got to do what they say because they going to keep us safe. Who is they in the first place? And then you have others who want to kind of be in control of their lives and get information, the real information, not just what they tell us.